This Month in History. This month in history, one of America's favorite games was created.
Hide and seek?
No.
Chess?
No. That was invented in India.
Chinese checkers?
No. This month in history, Monopoly was born.
Born? Did a stork come to deliver it?
No, Zoe, it's not a baby. It's a board game. America's most popular board game, in fact. And it has a very interesting history. Monopoly, as we know it today, was invented by Charles Darrow in 1933. Darrow had lost his job in the stock market crash of 1929 and had been looking for a way to provide for his family.
One night, at a friend's house party in Atlantic City, Darrow observed his friends playing a homemade board game about buying and selling property. He made his own version with the classic iconography we know today, like Park Avenue, Boardwalk, and Waterworks. He called it Monopoly. It was a huge hit with his friends and family, and pretty soon the game came to the attention of American board game company Parker Brothers, who bought the rights to Monopoly, making Darrow and his game an overnight sensation.
The story of Darrow becoming a millionaire in the midst of the Great Depression caught the public imagination by fire, and it became a widely cited example of the power of the American dream.
And that's the end of that.
Wait, no, not quite. Remember before when we were talking about how Darrow's friends were playing a homemade game and that gave him the idea? Well, that version was actually based off a much older game called the Landlord's Game.
The Landlord's Game?
The Landlord's Game. The Landlord's Game was invented by Elizabeth McGee in 1902.
Elizabeth McGee was the daughter of a prominent abolitionist and publisher who traveled with Abraham Lincoln in the 1850s. Her father had very progressive views, and these views influenced her own. Elizabeth grew up to become a feminist, a writer, an engineer, and a publisher, among many other professions. But one of the most important things Elizabeth's father passed on to her was his interest in economics. She took this passion and she created a game to teach others about the dangers of wealth accumulating in the hands of a select few. It was a game to mark the end of America's Gilded Age.
She called the game the Landlord's Game, and it proved to be wildly popular. In fact, it was such a hit that copycat versions started to appear all throughout the Midwest and East Coast. It was especially popular with the Quaker communities of Pennsylvania and New Jersey, and it was one of these knockoffs that Darrow first encountered.
Think of the Landlord's Game as a mix between Monopoly and the game of life. Its goal was to teach real-life daily lessons about the personal use of money and the important economic role people play in their communities.
Unlike Monopoly, in the Landlord's Game, when a player needs to pay taxes or buy a house, the money is put into a public treasury instead of a bank. When this public treasury reaches a certain set amount, it's redistributed, and then the players can vote. For example, they could vote to build a free college to benefit the community as a whole.
McGee's contribution was largely forgotten until the 1970s, when Parker Brothers sued a college professor for copyright infringement for his game Anti-Monopoly. Since then, McGee has been rightfully declared as the godmother to Darrow's iconic game, and both their contributions are now seen as an important part of American popular culture. You could say that Darrow no longer holds a monopoly on the credit.
And that was This Month in History. Be sure to like and subscribe below.
And share with your friends.